Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on Monday Night Raw and Superstars. As usual, I always give you some brief news. And here we go. Joey Styles wrote on Twitter that he's still hoping to induct Paul Heyman into the Hall of Fame next year from New York, New Jersey area. Next week's 3-hour Raw, last night's 3-hour Raw Super Show was earmarked for the 2012 WWE Draft at one point, but there has been talk that the 3-hour show on June 11th from Hartford, Connecticut will be the draft episode, but that's not confirmed yet. And there has also been talk of not even holding a draft this year because most guys are on both shows anyways, and some superstars have been switching brands back and forth. There's a feeling that some superstars like Randy Orton and Dolph Ziggler need a change of scenery, but in Orton's case, he's needed to help draw at SmackDown live events. Dean Ambrose will indeed be debuting on WWE's main roster soon, and the current storyline with Mick Foley is designed to make him a top name right off the bat. Ambrose was asked on Twitter what he thought about Foley's recent blog on their encounters, and he replied, quote, "To be honest, I expected a little more fight out of real Mick Foley. I mourn the loss of his testicular fortitude," unquote. Chris Jericho apparently had to get 3 staples in his head after last Wednesday's Raw Live event in Milan, Italy. Jericho and Punk have been working no DQ matches overseas since Jericho joined the tour. And he wrote, "Thanks at CM Punk. I now have 3 staples in the back of my head. Wait until tomorrow to Toulouse, France, Punk. I will exact my revenge," unquote. As noted before, Kane and Randy Orton at WWE Extreme Rules pay-per-view was originally scheduled to be a steel cage match, and more likely there will be no cage match at Extreme Rules because there will be one or possibly more cage matches at the No Way Out pay-per-view in June. As noted before, Terry Taylor has been brought back to WWE for a new developmental job near WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut. The proposed role for Taylor is heading up something of a finishing school, a place where the top guys in FCW will be coached by him more individually before going to the main roster. The plan is to take around 10 or so of the best guys in developmental, the ones closest to being called up, and give them to Taylor for new ideas before their debut. WWE star Darren Young took to Twitter over the weekend and had hash words for his D-list celebrity Michael Lohan. He wrote, "Dear said Michael Lohan is such a tool. I'm sick of this old fool calling himself a man. Time I show him a real dad that does teach him a lesson. I used to support at Michael J. Lohan and thought people were too hard on him. Now I see he's a bum. I'd enjoy pushing you in my world at WWE. No days off." That's a hashtag, I should say. Comments come after fans apparently proposed a Lohan versus Young match on WWE NXT. Lohan and Young went back and forth on Twitter before Young challenged him to a match at WWE SummerSlam in Los Angeles. Lohan told Young to contact his management, but accepted the challenge. It was reported last month that WWE had signed 6'7" top independent wrestler Brody Lee to a developmental deal. Lee confirmed the news this past weekend at 2CW wrestling show in Rome, New York. Lee announced that he would be dropping the 2CW heavyweight title because he's headed to Florida this week to begin working for WWE Developmental, FCW. WWE has released Tough Enough winner Andy Levine. According to Mike Johnson of PW Insider, Levine won the most recent season of the show that was broadcast in 2011, just like many of the rest. How many talents that have actually won Tough Enough? Well, Maven had won one. Well, he lasted about a year and a half. Levine had been working in Florida Championship Wrestling since he won the reality show. He had been using the name Kevin Hackman in FCW, which struck as odd, given the exposure he had using his real name on Tough Enough. Okay, and he commented on Monday afternoon on his release from WWE. On my way to acquire some much-needed experience. I'm just getting started in this business, Andy tweeted. Tough Enough trainer Bill DeMott said on Twitter at the same time that he still believes Andy still has a chance of returning to WWE. Nikki Bella captured the Divas title from Beth Phoenix on Monday's Raw due to the fact that Beth Phoenix had an injury, and that's the quick finish in the match. And this was while I fell asleep during the Divas match. Well, it was supposedly Phoenix's first televised title defense since February. Phoenix appeared to suffer an ankle injury prior to the finish, prompting a quick ending and title change. And I expect my prediction is for her to lose the title to whoever she faces on Extreme Rules, because her and her sister's contract end on Sunday. Also, earlier Monday afternoon, the following was posted on Wade Barrett's Twitter account. Quote, due to a number of factors, Mr. Barrett has signed an administration of this account over to his attorney for foreseeable future. Mr. Barrett will be making no further comments at this stage regards Peter Lazaro, Esquire, unquote. Barrett's last tweet was on March 1st when he wrote, I am done with Twitter for now. See you in a few months, unquote. WWE announced that they will be holding a free pre-show for the Extreme Rules pay-per-view on their supposedly new YouTube account. Santana Marella will defend the U.S. title against none other than The Miz during the pre-show, which will be available on their YouTube account. They did the same thing prior to WrestleMania, and I assume it will be a WrestleMania special. But it looks like this could be the normal for WWE on pay-per-view. MMA star Gina Carano, who recently starred in Haywire, is currently in talks with Universal to join The Rock in the next installment of the Fast and Furious movie franchise. According to the Hollywood Reporter, Carano's character would join Rock's character team in Fast 6 movie, which is slated to begin later this year in May. It has a May 2013 release. Frank Heinrich is at the WWE's Raw show in Detroit, Michigan, and sent the following updates from the building on the WWE Superstars taping. Dark match, Antonio Cesaro defeated JTG. Cesaro won with his reverse pile driver. And your partial two matches that are normally taped on Raw. For Superstars, Kelly defeated Maxine. Kelly used her usual leg drop finisher. And The Miz defeated Alex Riley. The Miz won with a skull-crushing finale. 3-hour Raw Super Show. Open up with pyro going off inside the Joe Louis Arena. Michael Cole welcome to a sold-out Raw from Detroit, Michigan. We go to the ring and set up for contract signing, but nothing happens there. Teddy Long is in the ring and surprise. He welcomes the Extreme Rules main event contract signing and brings out John Cena first, who says nothing. Teddy introduces Brock Lesnar. No appears. They say that he's not even at the arena yet. Cena looks worried as Lesnar's music hits. Laryngitis comes out instead and asks Teddy what he's doing. Laurinaitis told Teddy earlier that Lesnar isn't here yet. Laurinaitis says he will have the contract signing when Brock arrives. On Brock's terms, Johnny wants Teddy to tell all this to Cena, who is standing in the ring. Laryngitis says, "This could be Cena's last night on Raw, and he should enjoy it." Then he tells Teddy to tell Cena to leave the ring. Well, Teddy asks Cena to leave the ring and thanks him. Teddy leaves, but Cena doesn't. Laryngitis introduces himself to the crowd when Edge's music hit. Out comes the 2012 Hall of Famer, and he's excited. It says he's supposed to be here tonight. He isn't supposed to be here tonight, but everybody knows his DVD comes out at midnight. Well, it came out at midnight, and that's why he's basically there. He won't be even under the WWE contract anymore after tonight. Yes, last night, this week. I think it's the 29th, the same as the Bellas. It says that he came to talk to Cena. He could have done it privately, but it will have more effect in the ring. It says he doesn't know who this John Cena is. It says he came to talk to the Cena who was his rival, greatest rival ever. It says Cena must win. Through all their differences, they have always had a strong love for wrestling. It says Brock Lesnar doesn't give a damn about wrestling or the fans. He only cares about the fans if they can line his pockets. It says Brock left for 8 years while he and Cena carried the load. It says Cena needs to wake up because if he doesn't, there's going to be a slap in the face to all the guys like Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, and himself. Edge yells at Cena to wake up. Edge then says he's not asking Cena to beat Lesnar. He's telling him to. Edge drops the mic and walks off. Chris Jericho versus Kofi Kingston was up next. After the break, Jericho and Kingston for tonight's first match. Jericho takes it to the corner and works over Kofi. Kofi ends up dumping Jericho onto the floor. Jericho takes a breather while Kofi waits. Jericho comes back in and Kofi trips him. Jericho gets a cheap shot to the eyes and then comes back with chops. Jericho makes a comeback and takes Kofi down in the corner. Jericho taunts the fans and gets them to boo louder. Jericho goes back with a headlock. They play leapfrog and Kofi takes Jericho down with an elbow for 2. Jericho catches Kofi in the air, slams him on his face. Jericho with chops and kicks now. Jericho goes for a splash in the corner, but Kofi moves and Jericho ends up on the floor again. Kofi runs and dives over the top rope, taking Jericho out on the floor. We go to commercial. Back from the break, and Jericho has Kofi on the mat. Kofi fights out and rolls Jericho over 2. Jericho counter drops Kofi for another pin attempt. Jericho looks to finish the match, but Kofi comes back. Jericho counters a boom drop with a clothesline and gets another 2 count. Kofi makes another comeback and goes to the top. Kofi nails the crossbody, but Jericho rolls through for 2. Kofi counters Jericho with a big DDT, but Jericho kicked out. Kofi goes back to the top, hits crossbody on Jericho's back. Kofi hits the boom drop and ready for Trouble in Paradise. Jericho catches it and walls Jericho. Well, Kofi countered it and they fight in the corner. Kofi springboards in, but Jericho catches him mid-air codebreaker. Locks in the walls or the lion tamer. And well, the reporter calls it the walls, but it's actually the lion tamer because it's the knee was on the head. And it's not the walls is the can't think of the move now. Boston Crab. Okay, and they go for a video package of Brock Lesnar looking back at his WWE career. So to come tonight, they advertise that and push the contract signing as your main event as they go to commercial. Back from the break, Laryngitis is on the phone and he walks in. Laryngitis has an opening administration job that he thinks she may be interested in, and he's flirting with her. That's sexual harassment in my eyes. He and David Otunga need an executive administrator. He says this could lead to something really big. She says the key word is executive and says she would be honored. He welcomes her aboard and they shake hands, but like I said, he goes in for a hug, kind of like he does his little fingers type thing, like he's going to grab her boobs. Well, we go to a promo video for Brock Lesnar again from last week. Josh Matthews is backstage with CM Punk and asks what the gift that Chris Jericho announced after his match that he said he had for Jericho. Well, it's none other than a liquor basket. Yeah, it's a gift basket with like several different liquors. Well, he takes one of the bottles out and hands the rest to Josh Matthews. So he can do whatever he wants to do with it. And that's about it for that one. Back from the break, and we see footage of Lord Tensai beating John Cena last week. R-Truth versus Lord Tensai. They go to the ring, out comes Truth. Sakamoto and Lord Tensai were out next. We see a video from earlier today when Tensai was asked about the win over Cena last week. Tensai speaks in Japanese, and nobody can translate it. Okay, back to the match. Tensai strikes first and beats Truth down. Truth tries to make a comeback, hits a heel kick, but it doesn't even phase him. Tensai drops Truth with a shot to the face. Tensai charges in the corner, but Truth moves. Tensai turns around and runs over Truth, then takes him to the corner and beats him down. Sorry about the phone call. Forgot the phone was right there in front of the computer. Okay. We got to beat him down with headbutts. Tensai hits a big suplex and a back splash. Then a sit-down powerbomb and waits on Truth to get up. Tensai spits a mist on his green hands and applies the claw on Truth, taking him down for the pin. Then they see footage of Kane walking backstage as they go to commercial. Kane comes to the ring, talks about Randy Orton. He says Orton is struggling with his humanity and trying to come to grips with it. And the fact that Kane has discovered his one true weakness. Kane talks about hitting Cowboy Bob Orton and says Randy was the one who really suffered when he hit him. Kane says Orton isn't the Viper. He's nothing but a scared little boy crying out for his daddy. For the nightmare to end, Orton appears on the big screen and says, when you mess with his family, there's no turning back. Orton says he returned the favor. We see Paul Bearer tied up with duct tape over his mouth. Orton invites Kane to come join him in the fun. Orton wheels Bearer into a freezer and shuts it. Kane says Orton never ceases to amaze him. Kane says his true father is and has always been dead, been the devil himself. Kane says he can care less what Orton does to Paul Bearer. Kane apologizes to Bearer for having no intention to save him. Kane makes the ring explode and walks up the ramp, but is met by Orton, who comes running out from backstage. They brawl out to the ring. Orton grabs a pipe from under the ring and hits Kane in the gut with it. Orton with a shot to the ramp. Let's see. Orton with a shot to the back and a shot to the head, and then sends Kane over the barrier. Kane runs off through the crowd as Orton hits the ring. Orton poses in the corner as we go to replays. Lawler and Cole hype the contract signing before showing a replay of Edge confronting Cena earlier tonight, or last night, when Lesnar arrives. The signing will take place. We go back to the break. Okay, that's about where I fell asleep for a solid hour. I was so tired from my new job. A lot of stuff to do. Orientation, drug testing, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Alright, Alex Riley is backstage with Chris and runs into Chris Jericho. Riley says CM Punk threw him out of the locker room because Riley caught Punk drinking liquor from a gift basket. Jericho wonders if Riley is telling the truth and tells him to lead the way to Punk's dressing room, as he thinks it's a trick. Jericho looks in and Punk is on the phone with a bottle of liquor open in front of him. Alberto Del Rio and Cody Rhodes versus Big Show and the Great Khali was up next. I'm going to go back to that because I do remember seeing this little segment with A-Rye and Chris Jericho. This was they got to the dressing room, they cracked it open a few times, and you can see there was a Coke cup, not a liquor bottle, in Punk's hand as he was drinking. Well, it's unknown what was actually in it. Probably just water or Coke. And yet, get this, Punk is a Pepsi man. You got the Pepsi tattoo. So, how many more mistakes is WWE going to do? Okay, back to the match. They go to Alberto Del Rio, followed by his partner Cody Rhodes. Out next is the team, Great Khali and Intercontinental Champion Big Show. As they both come out, Khali is limping after being attacked by Rhodes on Friday's SmackDown. Khali starts out and then he wants Cody. Cody tries to kick him in the knee. Khali catches him. Khali beats Cody in the corner and clotheslines him. Khali catches another kick and chops Cody down. Cody tags in Del Rio. And he goes for Khali's leg. Khali grabs him and drops him with a big shot to the head. Khali hits a big chop on Del Rio in the corner. Del Rio goes to the floor to recover as they go to commercial break. Back from the break, in comes Show. Show goes at it with Del Rio. Cody pulls the ropes and Show lands on the floor. Cody and Ricardo Rodriguez stomp away on Show. Show makes it back at the 9 count and Del Rio attacks him before tagging back in Cody. Cody goes to work on Show's injured knee. Cody and Del Rio take turns tagging in and working on Show's injured knee. So finally come back in and goes for a clothesline, but gets taken back down. Cody applies the figure 4 on Show. Show breaks the hold, but Cody ducks him for another 2. Del Rio runs in, but Show knocks him out of the ring. Show with clotheslines on Cody, and Del Rio and Ricardo leave the ringside area. Khali reaches in and drops Cody with a big chop. Show nails a big choke slam on Cody for the win. It's announced that Santino Marella will defend the United States title against The Miz during the Extreme Rules pre-show on Sunday. The match will air on WWE's YouTube site. Back to commercial they go. Okay, from here on, that's where I missed the hour. Jericho is backstage with Laryngitis and even Teddy. He says Punk is drinking, so he needs to be stripped of the WWE title. Eve says she's been reading up on the rule book and Punk is in violation. Laurinaitis does have the right to strip Punk. Laurinaitis says he needs credible proof. Jericho suggests Laurinaitis get some police and make Punk a field sobriety test. And it's in the ring. Jericho thanks Laurinaitis for doing the right thing. And Eve is looking on ravishing. They knock Teddy and tell him that he will be the one to humiliate Punk tonight. And next up was Brock Lesnar walking backstage. Josh Matthews asks him where he's been tonight. Lesnar doesn't answer him. Matthews asks him if he will still be the face of WWE if he loses this Sunday. Lesnar then slams Matthews up against the production truck and lets him down. Lesnar grabs his bag and starts to walk off. Matthews mumbles something where the camera did actually hear him. I'm just doing my job. And then he gets thrown into the fence on the other side. Lesnar walks off with Matthews laid out on the ground. They go to break, and back from the break, they show what just happened to Josh Matthews at the hands of Brock Lesnar. Trainers are looking at Matthews on a stretcher and putting him on a neck brace. The Divas title matchup was up next. Nikki Bella versus Beth Phoenix. I guess that was the right time to go to sleep. Well, I missed a title change here. They go to the ring and Bella Twins are waiting. Now, next comes Divas champion Beth Phoenix. Before the match starts, Eve Torres came out. She says it's now her responsibility to improve WWE shows. She goes on to make this a lumberjill match. The rest of the WWE Divas come down and surround the ring. They go at it with Nikki. They go at it and Nikki connects with a drop kick. More back and forth until Nikki goes up top. Beth grabs Nikki, carries her over her head and drops her on her face. Beth continues to assault and splashes her on the ropes for another 2. Beth goes on to hit the backbreaker for a 2. Nikki fights out with a submission hold, but Beth grabbed her for the glam slam. Nikki escapes it and knocks Beth down for a 2. Nikki gets knocked to the floor. Beth falls to the floor. Also, looks to have injured her leg. And from the last I heard, it's just a severe sprung ankle. Brie Bella came over and attacked her. This brought the rest of the Divas over in a brawl. Natalya throws Nikki in while Brie throws Beth in. The referee asks Beth if she can continue as she holds her leg. Nikki comes from behind and rolls her up for the pin and the win. Winner, new champion, Nikki Bella. Teddy Long is backstage with Punk. Punk is apparently drunk, or acting like he's drunk, and flips out in about a field sobriety test. We go to commercial. Back from the break, Teddy is already in the ring with two police officers. Teddy calls out CM Punk, and here comes Chris Jericho. He wants to make sure everything goes right and be there when Teddy hands the WWE title over to him. If I'm not mistaken, the rules do not say that the title has to be handed over to him because it's not in a match. Therefore, it will be held up for a tournament for a new champion. Duh, Punk. You don't even know your own rules. Okay, well, Punk is walking a little looser and makes his way to the ring, dropping the WWE title. Punk says the whole thing is ridiculous and everyone knows it. One cop asked Punk to recite the alphabet backwards. He's acting like he can't do it. He said, well, everybody can't do that, even when it's over. Then he asked him to walk straight in the red line tape. Where? What? He says, Punk says he didn't see it, and Jericho tells him to quit stalling. Punk tries to walk the line, but can't. He's acting and then stumbling. Punk almost falls, but hits the ropes. Jericho tells Teddy to strip Punk. Teddy asks the cop his opinion. The cop says Punk is obviously intoxicated. Jericho tells the fans to thank the cops as they leave. Teddy asks Punk to hand over the WWE title as Jericho eggs him on. Michael Cole says we're witnessing history here. Punk hands Teddy the title. Jericho calls Teddy of fumble fingers and tells him to give over the title. Punk stops Teddy and asks for one more chance. Jericho says no. Punk wants to just one more chance. Punk goes to walk the line again. Punk stops and names the alphabet backwards all the way through. He finishes while walking the straight line. Punk moonwalks back over the line real slowly and then walks forward like Ric Flair, all while naming the alphabet. And as he finishes and decks Jericho with a microphone, Jericho tries to escape, but Punk brings him back in. Punk unloads on Jericho and beats him around the ring. Using the barrier the steel steps, Punk beats Jericho up the ramp. Jericho runs off as Teddy hands the WWE title back to Punk when we see Eve and Laurinaitis watching backstage, pissed. And they advertise Mark Henry versus Sheamus. We go to another Brock Lesnar video. Okay, not much of that. Sheamus versus Mark Henry. Back from the break. Out comes champion Sheamus. Out comes Mark Henry. Before the match can start, the special referee is announced, and it's none other than Daniel Bryan. Is in referee gear. Bryan comes out chanting, yes, 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 and Borgasms. Okay, and bell rings, and they go at it. Sheamus ends up beating Henry down in the corner. Bryan tries to stop him. Sheamus can't hit Bryan, or he will be fired. Bryan begs Sheamus to punch him, and they have words. Sheamus turns around to a big clothesline from Henry. Henry covers Sheamus for a quick over with. Henry wins. After the match, Bryan takes his referee shirt off and leaves the ring. Sheamus sees this and that he's not a referee anymore and attacks him on the floor. I predicted this right after that. I see a beat down. Sheamus throws Bryan back in the ring, hits Brogue Kick on Henry. Bryan turns it around and kicks Sheamus down. Then applies the yes lock. I'm going to call it the Borgasm lock. Bryan leaves the ring as Sheamus tries to recover. And sponsoring this next presentation, Doritos Tacos are presenting the next match. Brodus Clay and Hornswoggle versus Jack Swagger and Dolph Ziggler. Also still to come, Cena and Lesnar contract signing. Ryder and Epico, well, they just do their little dance off and what have you. Okay, they are facing Ryder. Okay, well, they have a tag match instead. Okay. Ryder and Epico start the match off, back and forth. Ryder makes a comeback, and the crowd chants for him. Ryder with a broski boot in the corner. Primo pulls Epico out of the ring. Ryder goes to the floor and gets shoved into the ring post. They bring Ryder back in for a 2 count. More offense on Ryder, but the champ Santino finally gets a tag and hits the big hip toss and headbutt on Primo. Santino breaks out the Cobra, out of the Cobra. Epico ducks it and it's a Cobra glove. Okay, he pulls out of her tights. Yada yada yada. Epico ducks it and gets dumped over onto the floor by Ryder. Santino hits the Cobra on Primo for the non-title win. Okay, Hornswoggle and Hornswoggle Brothers Clay won the match. Vicky gets left in the ring, comes in the ring, and tries to do the Funkasaurus little dance. Well, that didn't go very further. And the dancing girls come in and basically nothing really happened. Push her down and she exits the ring. Then they show footage from earlier. Brock Lesnar attacking Josh Matthews still to come contract signing. Back from the break, Kane finally pulls Paul Bearer out of the freezer, but puts him right back in. Primo and Epico backstage arguing, and when Abraham Washington walked up, he asked them why they're being treated like jokes. They not getting a WrestleMania match and having their entrance during a commercial. He tells them to call them if they want guidance. Brothers Clay and Hornswoggle versus Jack Swagger and Dolph Ziggler. Okay. Sorry, Ray, what happened to that? Okay, that's what it was. Vicky came in, and that was a DQ. She came in and smacked Brodus Clay. Vicky turned around to Clay's dancers, yada, yada, yada. Dancer to end it. Another Brock Lesnar video. Back from the break, Larry Linus is a Extreme Rules contract signing. But no Cena yet. So they have a little confrontation. And it's agreed upon that there will be no match unless Brock has his way. There was no signing as Brock actually handed him a contract and told him to read what his stipulations are. They stood up and verbally handshake, which means signs the deal. Legal contract signing. Lesnar then signs the contract. Then John Cena's music comes out. Cena sits back down. Lesnar sits back down in a chair. Cena hits the ring. Brock puts his fists up. Kisses them and smirks at Cena. Cena hits his own rep. In a chain, he has around his neck. Lesnar motions to Cena to sign the contract as he stands up. Lesnar finally speaks and tells Cena to sign it. Lesnar says he feels the vibration, feeling from Cena. Lesnar rants about feeling away of his feelings. He says the big bag boogeyman Brock Lesnar has been in Cena's mind and Cena is scared. Cena throws the contract as he signs it as they square up. They never come to blows as Lesnar leaves the ring, still looking at eyes on Cena. The Go Home Raw for Extreme Rules goes off the air with Lesnar backing up the ramp. And that ends my video for Raw this week.